Attention, 5-9 gamers! We are back with another installment of your favorite Dokkan Battle podcast called the Dokkan Battle Podcast. I am your host, Toon Rami, and joining me this week is the international family guy himself, Talon.
Ohayou gozaimasu, minasan.
Part-time stand user and full-time Super Battle Road King, the Masked Ningen.
Yo, how's it going, everybody?
Stellt euch dem schnellsten und mächtigen Speedrunner Sunblade.
That's right. Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you doing? The homie who needs no introduction, Goresh.
What is going on, everybody?
If it exists, then he's already rainbowed it. The LR King of Dokkan, the truth.
Hello.
That's it. Make sure you guys are locked in across all of our social media platforms and connect with the 5-9G network. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube, join the Discord, check out the Facebook fan page, check out the subreddit, check out the website. We got everything. So make sure you guys are fully locked in everywhere. Links are everywhere. Just go do it. It's easy. And yeah, without further ado, before we jump into the show, we have a very special announcement courtesy of our homie Goresh. Take it away, man.
All right, guys. So just a very quick thing before we get started here. We did a sponsored stream with Raid Shadow Legends a few days ago. Actually, it was pretty funny. You know, take it too seriously. But we do have a sponsorship ongoing with them. So if you guys want to support the channel, support 5-9, the brand that we've created, we have a link that is being posted in the chat. So if you guys want to support us, please go ahead and download the game with that link and play the tutorial. It takes like 2 minutes tops. And then, you can continue playing or choose not to continue playing, up to you. But that will help us in our relationship with the developers of Raid Shadow Legends. It'll help us obtain more sponsorships in the future. So if you're somebody who can't, financially support us through subscriptions or donations, that's completely fine. This is a way for you to do that completely free. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and actually get started with the podcast.
Thank you, Goresh. Let's begin with episode 14, Tanabata. So we'll start with the Tanabata banner. And on Global, we just got this, about a week ago? Long story short, it's got 1 million featured units. It's not really worth summoning, I'm guessing, for most people. But what are your guys' initial reactions, takeaways to the banner? It's pretty much the same as it was on JP. What are your guys' thoughts on the banner?
Mine is quick, so I'll jump in. Discounts are cool. If you want to do a couple discounts, I guess. But the banner is not really good. Just use red coins, get the fusions, be gone. Don't do it.
You just tell people to be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ignore the banner.
He just went full Yugi. I mean, he's right though, right? Because there's
No,
really not much. It's not worth the aggravation of trying to go in for 19 featured units trying to get 3 of the LRs, right? So,
20, sir.
sorry, Dokkan Fest featured, I meant. But yeah, 20. Krillin is in there too.
Yep.
But anybody else have any thoughts on the banner? Did you guys summon? Did you guys get anything good? How were your experiences?
Are the same. I think if people, especially because people are going to have started saving stones now, depending whether or not they summoned for Gohan, and for a lot of people, the New Year Step Up banner is not going to be worth it because there's not a lot of things they need. So I think the fact that it has the discounts and there's the tickets, it's worth doing the 3 discounted multis. And then obviously for Global, there's a pack in the Pilaf Trove that's like, I think $4 that gives you a couple of tickets. And then that puts you up to having enough to do a multi. And I got, on the ticket multi, I got a pool with Gogeta and Vegito in it. So it was definitely worth it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the peel-off Trove packs. I think those are definitely worth it if you're somebody who's not afraid to spend a few bucks on the game. Obviously, it's holiday season, so I'm assuming most people received at least some gift cards or money or whatever. It's not a bad idea if you're not opposed to spending in the game to pick those up. I think those are pretty good value, but overall I would agree that the general idea is to skip this banner.
What is it, like 80 for the whole thing?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and the problem is because of all the featured units. So last year I did get lucky because I bought the most expensive pack from the Trove that gives you the guaranteed featured unit multi. And when we had the banner last year, that got me my first copy of LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku because I had a massive shaft during the anniversary. So I decided to buy it again this year, but this time I definitely got the other end of the stick because I think one of the guaranteed features was physical Goku Black, and that multi cost me $30.
Ooh. Oh,
So-
that hurts.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you can get really lucky, but like there's just so many featured units on the banner that it is It's very risky.
I mean, the main argument for this banner would be the newer player base, right? Because there's
Right.
so much to gain, and with some of these deals, it does help. But the problem is the timing of the banner, because while this is the Tanabata banner, this happens at the same time every year. We've also got some pretty decent banners around it, like for example the step ups. We always talk about how the step ups has immense value, probably the best value you could have for a new player. So why would anybody even want to summon on this when the step up is right around the corner?
Well, I think again, like you just said, for a newer player, like we're talking about this banner not being worth it from the perspective of somebody who has most of the units that are already on here. But if you take a look at what's actually on here, like a lot of these units are actually quite good for most players that are newer to the game. Like a lot of the 120 leaders that are eventually going to get EZAs. There are a lot of units that have already gotten EZAs on here, like Super 17 is a good unit now. So I think, if you're somebody who hasn't been able to obtain, some of these featured units that are on here that most people consider old, like those units are not just ever on banners anymore. So if you want a way to obtain these guys that isn't spending red coins, then this is probably your best bet for now.
Another thing to add in too is that the banner only goes until the 30th. This is not like a typical banner length, right? So you have to make your decision now. You can't like wait to see what category leaders and stuff like that, what LRs are on the step up. You have to make your decision before the step up on New Year's happens.
Oh, that's genius. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, they're smart. They know what they're doing.
Marketing.
It's literally the exact same thing that Legends just did with their guaranteed Legends Limited banner. So.
Well, they're particularly annoying because for no reason at all, the Z power in your gift box lasts for like 5 seconds. So stupid. Like that literally is just them saying like screw you. That's the only reason. Yeah, it only lasts in the gift box for like 4 days. Like that's so stupid. Come on.
So obviously, when we talk about anything global, the comparisons always are brought up. So when it comes to this banner, as far as the content of the banner compared to JP, I'm pretty sure it's the same. But as far as timing, everything else, all factors considered, how do you compare this banner to JP?
Well, JP doesn't have the 3 multis get 1 free. On top
JP
of
Shaft.
On top of the exclusive discounts Global gets with the 40 for the first 3 multis, and then peel off
And
trophy
tickets
on top of it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the multis have tickets as well, so like the anniversary banners.
So global wins?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, by a long shot.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Because that's the thing.
JP.
The banner is exactly the same. We just got a whole load of bonus stuff on top, so is obviously objectively better.
I save to fly. I sure can say JP Shaft. JP Shaft. There you go.
I find it so depressing that like when I pick up GoBros now, I'm not even excited anymore. It's so I'm so bummed out when I pick up that unit. He's not even rainbowed for me, but when I pick up GoBros, it's just like, ugh. There was so much promise on this multi.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they were a standalone Dokkan Fest LR, so they don't have to be tied to a dual Dokkan Fest banner to actually come back. And I feel like that's what we're gonna see eventually with the Blue Goku and Vegeta in the future. Like they're gonna be able to come back on banners that aren't dual Dokkan Fests, which means they're gonna be able to come back on just more banners.
Speaking of dual Dokkan Fest, let's take this opportunity to move on to the next segment. Over on JP, a couple new units have been announced. We now officially know what they do, and we are of course talking about Janemba and Pikkon. They are both brand new Dokkan Fest units, and they've got some pretty interesting categories. So where to begin, honestly? I guess we'll just start with Janemba. Janemba is the leader for the mind and body erosion category. So we'll just open up the floor. Folks, what do you guys think about the category? Does it make sense to you? Do you like the units that you see on the category? And what do you think about his leader skill build? Because he's not only a lead for that new category, but he's also a sub-lead for Extreme Class in a major way. Key +3, 130%. So this is kind of a new archetype and a pretty cool thing that they're starting.
It's good. The category is actually good because I think it's consistent. Like I didn't really notice any glaring holes because it's like basically just like characters that are mind controlled or like have had like bodies like taken, and seems very solid to me, right? Like I don't like. Is there any problems with it? I didn't see any.
Yeah, I don't think there was any problem with it. The only thing I would say that they could have added was the Fat Boos in the game, and that would have also included the Bobbity and Boo unit that's about to release, which would have been nice to have on here. I mean, technically, I guess you could make the argument that Bobbity controls Boo, but it's not technical. But it's not like physically him having control over his mind. It's just him like coercing him into doing what he says, right? So it's like technically not like the same way he has control over Vegeta, right? But I think you could have made the argument to put him on there.
Yeah, to kind of build on that, I kind of thought that the evil Boo would have been a part of this because, as the good Boo or the fat Boo, he sees what happens to the dog and everything. He starts freaking out, and his mind and body like erode. He regresses back to his like evil ways, right? So I kind of thought that unit would have been there. But yeah, as far as the two new categories are concerned, this one is probably the better one just because it's a little more definitive and more clear cut. And yeah, to also follow up on the other thing, Goresh and I have talked about this before. The fact that not only is he a lead for the new category, but also he covers extreme class is so useful because it just opens up the team building quite a bit. Because now you don't just have to restrict it to those one category with 30 units on it. So there's actually a lot more potential for team builds and some pretty lethal combinations. Anybody else? Any
No, I
thoughts on,
definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. When I originally saw the category, I just thought of like, okay, it's another category. But then when they revealed that it was a 130 to all extreme types, that's actually really, really helpful. So you might accidentally be running somebody who's on the category. Even if you don't, you just run an extreme team. I mean, a 130 to an extreme team is honestly not that bad. I can still beat pretty much almost any event in the game. So
Yep.
Yeah.
It is the best extreme class lead, right?
Yeah, no, it is. Yes, it is. So
yeah. Sunblade, we always see on these banners transforming Frieza, transforming Goku. They've become annoying to a lot of the veteran players because they're everywhere. We also have Trunks and Zamasu kind of doing the same thing, not to the extent of the Goku Frieza, obviously, but with the arrival of these new units, Janemba, of course, and Pikkon, we now have a third pair of units that can also lead that extreme and super class. Do you feel like this is going to be a trend that is going to be continuing moving forward with new units, or do you think this is kind of a one-off with these more obscure categories?
Well, I think that we will see more units like this down the line. Maybe in 1 or 2 years, we'll see a leader skill like Extreme Class, Key +3, and 150% of stats. But yeah, who knows? It's Akatsuki. Everything could happen, but that's my prediction, pretty much.
These aren't the first leaders like this, right? This is just the progression from Trunks and Zamasu.
Right.
Yeah, but this is the first at this level.
Yeah, 130.
Well, is it? Trunks and Zamasu were 120. They go up.
They
by
were 120.
10%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
10%.
Yeah, and now it's 130.
Yeah, they're just that's the point. It's just a progression.
No, I know, but I think the interesting thing to talk about more than that is because Goku and Frieza have been on so many banners. The reason being is because they're just beginner-friendly units. Because a lot of people start the game during these hype celebrations for Dual Dokkan Fests. That's why Goku, Frieza, and Vegeta, the transforming Vegeta, are always on these banners. I feel like you could make the argument that because these guys technically have better super and extreme class leader skills, we might start to see them, I guess, be featured on a lot of these upcoming Dual Dokkan Fests throughout the next year because of that too. So
Yeah, Trunks and Zamasu do seem pretty common, huh?
Well, they're definitely not as common as Goku and Frieza, but Trunks and Zamasu would argue have way better leader skills than this upcoming Pikkon and Janemba do. When you factor in Realm of Gods in the future, so
yeah, probably actually.
So now let's talk about the actual unit itself. So the transforming Janemba, he starts off as the fat Janemba, and then of course the active skill leads to the transformation. He is Extreme Tech, which is obviously something that everybody's excited about. Finally, Extreme Tech gets someone good. Truth, we'll start with you. How do you judge this unit? Good, bad, middle of the pack? What do you think on paper?
Yeah,
how does he?
I think both Janemba and Pikkon are very good. I just think there's slight changes they could have made to make them just a bit better, make them a bit more OP. Because when we consider that literally the next major banner is going to be the 6-year anniversary, like I don't know that they made enough incentive for people to summon for Janemba and Pikkon. Like I don't know, like they're not like unmissable. Like you have to get them. But then again, like I thought the same thing about Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Majin Vegeta last year. I thought that was a miss for New Year's as well. So maybe just Dokkan, they're not taking New Year's as serious as I think we thought. Because like
I think they're
Janemba,
also. Oh, good. No, sorry.
no, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think they're mostly banking on the banners themselves. The fact that they revealed them at Jump Festa with the year 5 fusions, they're probably trying to hope that a combination of those cards, along with the Janemba and Pikkon, is enough incentive for people to at least summon a little bit. Maybe, even, if you're one of those people who needs like 1 or 2 more multis to get your 500 red coins to snag the LRs, that's still summoning, that's still spending your stones, which means you don't have more for the year 6, which means you got to potentially buy more. So that's probably what they're trying to bank on.
On JP, both times the blue fusions have been on banners. It's JP's hit top grossing. JP
Right,
did
exactly.
not hit top grossing for blue Goku and Vegeta, but they did for the Tanabata banner 10 days later because of the fusion.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, they could still definitely get top grossing.
Plus, you have to remember that the New Year's sales are generally the best, maybe the second best. I don't remember the anniversary from last year, but New Year's has generally had very good sales. It's kind of like Black Friday almost, where you have a lot of these like half price sales. The special for $20 you get 50 stones or something like that. So just keep that in mind for that.
And then we might as well bring up. No, go ahead, Drew.
I was just gonna say real quick, the one major thing with Janemba and Pikkon that I'm not the fan of is that their support abilities are locked behind getting I think way too many type orbs. Pikkon is 3, Janemba's 4. Like, it's stupid. It honestly, they should have just had the support for free. I think they don't become the best units in the game by a mile at that point. Like, they should have just did that.
Well, I think again, because this could potentially be some of the new units that are more accessible to the newer players. If they make them overly broken, that might just maybe break the balance potentially. Kind of why.
What I think they could have done is they could have had a scaling support buff depending on how many orbs they get.
I like that.
Okay, yeah.
I think that would have worked better.
Let's also bring up the Pikkon, of course, the AGL Pikkon. He is the lead for a category that I still have no clue what it means. Connected Hopes. Joint aspirations, something, I don't know. He is the lead for that category, as well as Superclass Key plus 3/130. And when he uses his unit super attack, of course, he pairs up with Gogeta. But then more specifically, his active skill, he shuts down the enemy's turn altogether. Is that right? It's basically like a Ghost Usher, right?
It is, but it's only for one enemy.
Yeah, so if you're doing like a solo event, like Legendary Goku event or something,
right?
You got yourself a free Ghost Usher. That's pretty cool.
Wait. So you pick which enemy doesn't, like, how does that work?
Whoever you're targeting when you use the active skill.
Okay.
Yeah, it says targeted enemy, so that's what I assume it means.
Wait, did you see
that makes
or
sense.
that's just an assumption?
Well, it says there to raise target
That's
enemy.
in the Japanese.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
the active skill literally says
translates to.
targeted enemy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start with the category. What the heck is Connected Hopes? And what do you guys think about the category itself?
Where's LR Gohan? Why like, okay, I just thinking what it could mean. I still feel like, especially the Gohan from the Cell games, should probably be on there. Like, what argument against him is there?
So it says consists of characters who represented someone's last hope.
Remember that that's the Dokkan wiki interpretation.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's the official one. I'm just telling you that's pretty much all we have to.
Yeah,
So
literally every like Gogeta and Vegeta would be on it then.
Yeah. Why is Pikkon on there? Like, what whose last hope is he?
I don't get this, man.
That's what I'm saying, because people, like, we talked about, like, Super 17 should be on the fusion category. He literally has the Fuse Fighter link, and people go, well, it says right here it's Fusion Dance and EX. Shut up! That's just the Dokkan wiki, like, explaining what it is so far. Like, Super 17 should still be in the damn category.
Don't worry, he'll be added in by year 7, just like, the year 3 LRs and everything to Pure Sands,
I feel like he really does have a good shot of getting added at some point. Because they do that all the time. They add a bunch of units to categories.
Well, if they potentially bring out a new one, because he still is the only like usable one in the game. If they ever bring out a new one, that would be a good opportunity to add them into that.
I agree, because they updated Gogeta's text, right? The tech Gogeta had his wording changed when Int Gogeta came out. And by the way, people would say, well, Super 17 wouldn't be good, blah, 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 blah. No, Super 17 and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta link very well. Go take a look.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You think that'll be a good rotation? New Super 17 and that Gogeta? I think so.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone said Pikkon is his own last hope.
Yeah,
No,
Dokkan's
this
last
category-
hope against Blue Gogeta and Legends. Yeah.
No, this category is his last hope for relevance.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, look, it's good in the sense that it gives Pikkon a new category because the boy doesn't have too many to begin with. But we don't need to harp on that the whole time. What do you think of the unit overall, Ningen, for Super Battle Road? What are the implications with this unit? Is the outlook looking good for future Super Battle Road endeavors, or is he just another one in the pack?
Wait, I'm
No.
grading you on this answer right here, Ningen. Go ahead. Let me see.
Well, yeah, I do think he is good. So when you guys were talking about his passive just now, I rejoined because my PC crashed, and apparently
Welcome
when
back.
I rejoined,
Wasn't gonna say that, but all right.
my mic was muted. So I was trying to interject, and then I realized my mic wasn't working. So on his passive, you don't get to target an enemy because the wording apparently is the restriction on using his active skill is when you're facing one enemy. So you can't use it until there's only one enemy left.
Okay.
So in Super Battle Road, obviously, doing the no item run, like if you could use it earlier and it was actually a ghost usher, then it would literally be a game changer. But it's going to be more of like a finisher, because when you get down to only having one person left, you then don't run the risk of like dying in the last turn kind of thing.
Why would they word it that way? Okay.
Yeah. So, and then of course, like he greatly lowers attack, which is, whilst that's not as effective in some Dokkan events and stuff nowadays, is super, super useful in Super Battle Road. And I guess there is an Angel Goku that you can pair him up with, who is kind of useful. His defense isn't the best, but so I think he could be very good for Super Battle Road.
For me, I'm looking at Super AGL, which is like the hardest stage
exactly.
of the game. For there, we don't really like getting the unit super attack's not a big deal because that's just super effective against all types, which all the enemies are STR anyway, right? What I look at with this Pikkon is the new Dokkan Awakening for the AGL Whis, who can be fairly okay defensively, but you get these two together, Pikkon and Whis, I mean, they're sharing several links. Gentlemen, Shocking Speed, Cold Judgment, they're getting 40% defense from links. And
I was going to say, it's like it's a modern day throwback now, back to when you had like the free to play combo of having the Super Strike Pikkon with that AGL Whis. Yeah. And now we literally have like an upgraded 2020 version of that.
And that AGL Whis, I mean, again, because Pikkon has 50% dodging with one Rainbow Orb, right? So you put him in slot 1, you know, potentially he could get a couple dodges, and then Whis in slot 2 could easily triple super, and he has 3 chances to stun, and he builds up his defense as he attacks. So I think like that combo will obliterate that stage. I mean, yeah, you could still.
Yeah, plus Whis has the heal as well, doesn't it? Oh no, wait, the AGL one doesn't, or does he?
No,
he
does.
AGL has the heal.
Yeah, so these two together, like when these two come out, I think Super AGL is probably a done deal.
Yep. I think the best thing for me with Pikkon is he works really well as a main rotation unit and also as a floater too, because remember he does seal if you get a Rainbow Key Sphere. So if you want to make use of that, leave him in slot 1. He has the dodge as well if you get that Rainbow Key Sphere, which means that he's literally designed that whole portion of his passive where he gets 4 key, high chance to dodge and sealing. That part is designed for him to be a main rotation unit. So if you can get that Rainbow Key Sphere, and you can with him in slot 1, I guess preferably slot 1, then you leave him in slot 1. But if you can't get the Rainbow Key Sphere, then you probably put him in the end and try and get the other portion where he's a support unit. So I think that's his best asset to the team, is his, I guess, flexibility in terms of where he can be placed in the rotation.
Yeah, because one of the things we've talked about before is category leaders who restrict the category too much. Like if you don't want to run them on main rotation, and then they're kind of worthless as a floater. Whereas you can use this guy for that, so it makes your team building options a lot more varied.
Yep.
If you had to pick one of them, which one's better, Janemba or Pikkon? All things considered.
I think Janemba.
Janemba.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Janemba, but then I'm a little biased towards Janemba, and so.
Plus, I will say, as much as it's, I know it's like it's not from the actual movie, and it doesn't technically make any sense because of their compared power levels. But I think the partner super attack animation is amazing.
I think it's interesting when you look at like the value that these guys are bringing to their teams, because the biggest thing that these guys actually are bringing is their names, because there's no other unit that's named Janemba, and no other unit that's really named Pikkon that's viable in the game.
Yep.
For now, until the tech one gets his EZA, he can massively lower attack.
Yeah. Whatever you say, buddy.
That'll be the day. Before we move on, we should also mention that Veku is getting some shine as well. Veku is going to be a new lead for Fusion, and he is going to be a free-to-play. He's a Fusion key plus 350%, I just realized. What do you guys think about the new Veku? Is this kind of just a gimmick, or are they trying to actually give him a character-specific, accurate skill set that makes him viable on teams?
I think he sucks ass. Like, why does the SR one was a lot more intriguing to me, where it's just like he's like a super defensive unit, but this one is like kind of a mix. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of like the mix he's got. Like performing crits, like he doesn't need damage. Defense is what they should have given him. Where are you using him? Fusion team? You need more damage on the fusion team? Like, come on.
The way they're going to make him relevant is they're going to require you to use him for some kind of extreme Z area in the future.
or some Gogeta unit in the future needs a Veku or something.
One of the funniest super attacks, though, that's for sure. he farts on the enemy. Who else does that?
He's like you too.
Yeah. Because my name is Wario. All right, so let's move on with the farting out of the way. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the LR Super Saiyan Goku EZA. We finally got that on global.
Frieza's better. Moving on.
Well, yeah,
okay, let's move on to the. I'm just kidding. So the Prime Battle Goku EZA has taken place on global finally. So now we get to reap the benefits of this brand new LR EZA for global. I know JP. Obviously, you guys have had this for a while. You've had plenty of time to sit on the unit, but global players, what are your thoughts on the new EZA?
I love his design. I really like his design a lot. I think they took a risk with the 18 key super attack effect, because I don't think we've ever seen that critical hit thing in there before for any other unit. I really like that. And I also really like the fact that he gives key when attacking extreme class enemies. Or sorry, as the first... Wait, what? Yeah. As when he attacks extreme class enemies to himself, right? He gives himself 3 key. I think that's pretty unique. And whenever I see something that's, I guess thinking outside of the box a little bit in this game, I get very excited. And when this guy's details was first announced for JP, I was really excited for him.
Same.
Yeah, he's the perfect example of what an EZA should be, because it's a unit that just wasn't viable to run anymore, and now he really is, and he's actually really good. So this what an EZA should be for.
Is there ever a situation where you would want to run this guy alongside extreme class units, though, or does that seem like an unnecessary leader skill that they sort of just tacked on to the unit? Because like his skill set is not really meant for extreme allies, is it?
I think realistically, his leader skill is really only there for like free to play or newer players. Although I guess for them it's, well, I was gonna say it's harder to do his event, but all of those units are free to play. But you do have to have the orbs to rainbow them all. But yeah, I think his leader skill is mainly for free to play players to take advantage of.
I will say one thing that is actually really good for him actually is, and I've been using the EZA Frieza for this as well. Again, probably very low minority people are going to do this, but if you are trying to link level somebody on the particular quest stage, you can use him or the Frieza as their leader, because they affect everybody. And then you bring a physical Broly friend with you, and then you have whatever units you're trying to link level up, and boom, there you go. Works out pretty well actually. So.
Go ahead, Sunblade. You were trying to say something?
Yeah. So, what I really like about the leader skill, first off, the guys were right about this, but my JP account is very fresh, I would say, and I started grinding the Frieza right after the Goku EZA, and this Goku right here came really in handy with this leader skill because he supports super and extreme class. So I brought him as a leader, and for the Frieza Prime Battle event, you have to bring the Ginyu Force, right? So. Yeah, that was very, very helpful just to defend his leader skill in some way.
Yeah.
For Prime Battle events, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So in the context of free to play, there's more utility. But in the grand scheme of things, you're probably not going to be using this guy as your lead unit. He's going to be a useful asset on the team. But as far as the leader skill, not so much. But I guess that's good, right? Because, he's already he's pretty ridiculously strong given the upgrade from what he was from humble beginnings coming to this. It's a pretty drastic change. So giving him an equally broken or really powerful leader skill might be a bit too far for a free to play LR EZA, right?
Yeah. Well, plus something that's going to happen as well, hopefully in the near future, now that Marseille has had his EZA. When this guy first around the time he first came out, one of his best link partners to use was the Teq Super Saiyan Bardock, and obviously all of them are now a lot more difficult to use on teams because of how they've aged. But eventually they will get EZAs. So when the Tech one gets an EZA, that rotation of him and this Goku like back together again will be another like push back into the meta.
Yeah, First Awaken's definitely a big deal.
Plus, because the Tech one creates orbs, which is obviously one of the only issues with this guy is his getting key sometimes.
Super Battle Road experiences with this guy? Anybody have anything? Have they been positive? Have they been so-so? How is he on the end game content?
If I remember correctly, he's actually pretty good. Just make sure you get try to get 12 key super attack off if possible to raise that defense. Obviously, don't let him tank 3 super attacks in once, but I remember him being pretty good.
I don't think I've used him in anything. Now that I think about it.
What?
Yeah, I haven't used him in Super Battle Road, Legendary Goku. I didn't do anything with him. I don't think.
Yeah, he's
unacceptable.
I mean, and like normal Super Battle Road, he does completely fine. He does everything you need him to. Extreme, if I remember, it's been so long. I want to say he's good. Like he's not bad or anything. Just again, don't let him take 50 super attacks and you're good to go basically.
So yeah, I used him on Super Tech ESPR and he worked just fine. I gave him full additional because when he does his 18 key, he has a quote unquote good chance to do his 12 key, and that triggered quite often. And with that, I was totally fine. The Goku did a very good job on there for a free to play unit. I was very amazed.
Yeah.
When it comes to Prime Battle, their trademark passive it's always centered around static boosts, right? You're always given plus 40,000 for this, 80,000 for that, 100,000 for this, whatever. In the future, do you feel like the Prime Battle archetype needs to change? Or with the arrival of the whole Prime Battle EZA and like legendary campaigns and all that, do you think it's okay to leave them as they are, just like slowly increasing their static boosts while leaving the EZA to take care of the rest of it? Or do you think eventually we should start getting Prime Battle use that start off with percentage-based passives? What do you guys think about that?
I think it's fine the way they did it because just looking how ridiculous. Not even more so of what the Goku is like, but the Frieza. The Frieza is so insanely overpowered.
Oh, that Frieza is freaking ridiculous. Oh my god!
Like if that's what they're gonna look like moving forward, I got no issues with it.
Yeah,
I think people, because the whole reason why people even started to say that the flat boosts were bad is because we just assumed that leader skills would just continue getting higher and higher and higher. So those percentage boosts would obviously have a lower effect on the flat. That will have a lower effect in interacting with the flat boosts and the passives for these units. But now we're sort of capped at like 170. That's basically like the highest point we've seen besides 177 in one case for leader skills in the game. So with that, I don't think, they're obviously taking into account, what is the Babidi and Boo have, like 40,000 and then 50,000 or something like that?
Is the highest that they get, yeah.
Yeah, so they've definitely looked at that and calculated that that's sufficient for what they should have. And if we don't continue getting like 200%, 250% leader skills, then we're completely okay.
Any final thoughts on the Prime Battle LR Goku? When is Global going to be getting the Frieza one now? Now that we just got this, how far out are we before the Frieza?
I think like 2 months.
I would assume the time frame would be exactly the same because they're going to give people time to grind everything up. So I actually don't think Frieza's anytime close. When did Frieza come out? 3 months later? Was that what it was?
It was like 2, or I think, or 2 or
I think it was
2.5.
4 months. 4 months later. So
it was 4?
I would expect
Wow.
Global will get him in 4. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I'm stupid. July to October. What was it?
3.
Well, I think he came out the first week. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it up now.
I think it was the start of November is when he came out, like Halloween or something.
I mean, all these upgrades are good and all. I just want my boy Cell to get the royal treatment. When that happens,
yeah, November 5th is when he came out.
You're gonna be waiting a while because we have Trunks, then Vegeta, then Cell.
I know, but just wait, man.
Assuming they go in order.
When Cell gets that upgrade,
one they could put off too, by the way, because he's very good. Whereas all the others were very. I mean, Frieza was okay because of his strong link set, but the rest were like super mid. Cell is not mid.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to another topic on Global. I'm sure this segment is probably going to be mainly featuring Ningen and Truth. We're talking about Season 4 of Super Battle Road because Global has finally received stages 31 through 40. So obviously everyone is, quickly trying to get these events done. And I'm sure in about a day or two, we'll have people complaining about how there's no content in the game. But,
Yeah. Dude, I got that. Someone tweeted that to me within like an hour. I beat them all. Where's the content? Like, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not designed for people to do that.
So we'll start off with Ningen, and then I'm sure Truth will have something to say. But let's start off with you because a little birdie told me that you no-itemed every single one of those runs on the first day?
Yep.
Monster. So how are you liking the new Super Battle Road stages?
So I like them. I mean, Super Battle Road's my favorite mode in the game. As you know.
Really?
Yeah, I know, crazy.
It's the best content in the game. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the thing is with Global is it's the exact same thing as when Super Battle Road first came out on JP. So when the mono stages first came out, it was super, super hard. We were seeing videos go up from the main content creators at the time who couldn't beat the stages. And then when they came to Global, we all beat them all in the first weekend because we have that prep time essentially. And I do think that kind of affects the difficulty level for it. Because obviously not everyone cares about doing no items, but loads of people were tweeting me that they'd beaten all the stages in the first day. With items, obviously.
I saw your replies.
What are your link levels looking like for a lot of the main teams you were using? Like a lot of the
I'm trying to think. Some of them were quite spread out. I've only got about 30 units with full level 10 links, so most of my runs only had maybe one or two.
I mean, outside of units that have big bad bosses, it's really right. You just get it to 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're because the buffs are consistent with the links, right?
Yeah.
It's only something like Royal Lineage, Big Bad Bosses, Dismal Future, where you get a real big buff at actual level 10.
Yeah. So yeah, for the no item runs, obviously that makes it much easier. But there are certain units that, because of the way they just are good for Super Battle Road, like units with good chances to stun, built-in dodge, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, if you're someone who is just using items like most people, some of those units, you just bring them even if they're all link level 1, and they still do perfectly fine. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's hard to say. It's hard for me to gauge the difficulty level for a lot of other people. It depends on your level. But if you're, a whale, been playing it for a while, you probably will be able to beat all of them fairly quickly. Especially if you're someone who follows any sort of content, because you'll have seen videos of the teams, and that's kind of what I was saying about Global has time to prep. We all knew essentially the teams we were going to use for our first tries before the events even dropped. So but yeah, I mean, I still really enjoy it. People of a lower level still find them challenging. I've seen mostly positive responses from people. Obviously the whole main thing was just the fact that we had to wait so long, so hopefully they don't do that again for the next ones.
And of course, bringing up the JP perspective, how they're always, quote unquote, the guinea pigs of all the events. Let's also bring in some JP, thoughts on this whole thing. So, stages 31 through 40, Sunblade, Talon. You guys obviously, been there, done that. You guys have run through these events. How are your guys' experience, and how are you taking the reactions to the Global side and how they've been handling the new stages?
I mean, when we got the new stages, I mean, what was it? 3 of them already were done free to play completely. I did it within my first stream. Lineage or the Frieza team, basically. Youth actually surprised that one surprised me actually to be free to play. And then
very free to play friendly, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it was Goku family. I think I don't remember. It's been a while, but I mean, no, they're good stages to do and everything. Again, if you're a content creator, you busted them out in one day, but everyone else just took their time and everything. But it almost feels like people kind of forgot about them. It's kind of what I want to say. It's just kind of we got them, and then it's you didn't really it's almost like the categories are kind of for some reason. I don't know. I'm personally not saying that, but it seems like I've seen a lot of people just forget that they even exist or anything. It seems like every time we've had new category Super Battle Road stages come around, like, you always, see people talking about it, or you see, you always remember it. You'd be like, oh, you can test it on here and everything's just really good. But these ones just kind of just like, okay, sure.
That's interesting because I've had
I disagree with that.
Tell me about him every single day, right?
I know.
Every
Again,
video has a comment.
That's just my experience. So again, you
Yeah.
guys can easily have something different. So
I think obviously partly it is different for content creators. So for most other people, it depends just how much you enjoy playing the mode and trying out units in other modes. Because one of the reasons that I was looking forward to it is obviously when we get new units come out, whether it's for making a video or not, we all like to use them on different teams. And one of the things we like to do is take them into Super Battle Road. So for example, for Global, when Gohan came out and he's the new movie heroes leader, there is no movie heroes stage. So if you want to do like some content where you're doing a movie heroes team on Super Battle Road, you had to go into the super class stage, which then means you're restricted to having to bring a unit of every type. So yeah, not just for us, but even just for people who like to take their units into these different kinds of content, just having all these extra categories available to run now means that you have a bunch of different stages that you can actually try out these new units when they come out.
Yeah, that was actually what I was
going
going
to
to say. That was what I was going to say too, because I remember when Gohan came out, the new LR, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to take him into this stage. Oh wait, that's not out yet. Oh, okay, I'll just take him into this one. Oh wait, that's not out either.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I was forced to take him into hybrids. I was like, okay, well, this is not really his, ideal team to be showing him on. So.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think they're really, really good for that going forward. But I mean, I can see kind of what Talon is saying. Like, what's for some people, they will just beat the stage the one time to get the rewards, and then they never play it again. And so then obviously, if there's a huge gap between new stages coming out, then I guess for some people it just kind of sits there and gets forgotten.
Yeah.
But I love replaying it with all sorts of teams. So.
Yeah, the thing is that the new category stages came out after ESBR, and the difficulty of those stages is not very impressive. So I personally didn't care about them, aside from the new LR and the stones. That's why I have to, in some way, agree with Talon that I forgot about them. Yep. But that's just me.
How many? So on JP, the extreme side, they've had 2 seasons of it, right? The types, and then the first batch
Why
of
are we
categories.
talking
Correct?
seasons? What is this? Is this an anime?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alright.
it's a shonen anime. It never ends.
the SBR arc.
Yeah, there's been 10 new stages too. Yes.
All right. So with that, we're gonna wrap up the first half of the show. But don't go anywhere, folks, because we will be back with your questions, answering as many as we can right after this. Don't go away. Folks, a couple of days before the show, we like to send out some announcements over on Twitter. Well, now we've started doing that on Discord as well, where you guys can post your questions for the show for us to answer live on air. And if you guys want to be a part of this, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and join the Discord so that you guys can be involved in the show more directly. So for this week, we will start our questions with someone from the Discord. The name is Von Karma Shrimp. Not going to say the other thing because this is Twitch. And he asks, why do you guys think they keep built-in negatives in EZA units' passives? Example, Super Saiyan 3 Broly, AGL Blue Kaioken, still lowering HP on super attack.
The reason why they do it, I think, is just for, I guess, lore purposes, right? There's like a reason why,
Yes.
like, there's a drawback to what they're doing. That's why. The only thing I would say about it is I wish they would compensate for it in a way where it's actually worth that negative happening. Like with Broly, the Super Saiyan 3 Broly, okay, lore-wise, I don't know why they did that for him. It makes no sense. But, like, for him specifically, that drawback, him having that should then also mean that he gets, like, a much bigger boost in terms of offense. Like, if they want to go down that path for Broly, he should have just been, like, an 8 million attack stat, like, critting Juggernaut while having 0 defense or something.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that's the basis for a lot of people saying that his EZA is such a shaft, right? Because it just doesn't compensate. Like, it just doesn't balance out the fact that he has such a massive drop off on defense.
Yeah, he's kind of just like a middle of the road offensive unit while also just being a terrible defensive unit, which makes no sense.
I mean, it also just, it adds diversity to the game too. Like, if everyone just has a bunch of passives that stack on stack on stack on stack, that's cool and all, but there's no risk. There's no there's no thrill when jumping into certain events with those units. So I feel like it helps make the game more dynamic when you're using different teams, different builds, having units that have, good trade-offs, bad trade-offs. It just adds to the diversity of the game. It's a collector gacha, right? So you've got 1 billion units. Why not have them do different things? Whether they're good or not is a whole different story. But the fact that we've got such diverse cast of units, I think that helps.
I think it's almost in the opposite, because there's such a diverse selection of units on certain teams. They need to either give them a much bigger counterbalance, like Goresh was saying, or they need to think a lot more carefully about the teams that they put them on. Because Broly's a good example. He's only on like Pure Saiyans and Super Saiyan 3. So with the drawback he has, there's almost every other unit on the category you would run over him. So you just never use him.
I mean,
So-
that's more of a problem of just them designing the character. Yeah.
Yeah, so if they're going to keep that kind of sort of drawback part of his passive, then put him on teams where he would then still be a viable choice. Because I don't think you'd run like on Pure Saiyans. You just never run him. So
All right, let's move on to the next question from Twitter, brought to us by Frieza Tardio. Frieza asks, what are your personal most anticipated character moments that you want to see in Dokkan? Doesn't have to be a new character. Could be just an underrepresented move like Cooler flying through Kamehameha.
That's a good question.
Oh, you know which one I'm going to say. It's Frieza tanking Nails chopped to the neck into him ripping his arm off.
like give him a Frieza unit that as his normal attack counter animation, so he
Yep.
rips their arm off multiple times.
Yeah, no, they'll just grow it back.
Well, we've talked about it. We even mentioned it very briefly in this time as well. But obviously, I really want to get a new Super 17 that starts as a Hellfighter 17 and like GT 17 that then fuse together. Because seeing that would be pretty cool.
I would like to see a crying Vegeta into Goku from the Namek saga for the Frieza.
Oh,
fight.
come on, dude. Leave my boy Vegeta alone. Come on, what are you doing?
But that could be their exchange. Should be Namek Vegeta that
Yeah.
exchanges into Namek Goku.
Yes.
So he
Yes,
cries,
exactly.
then he cries and he gets shot through the chest, and then he's dead.
Yeah,
And then,
then you switch to Goku and you get a magic buff.
and then he revives and he gets teleported away.
Yeah, then you have someone for the Connected Hopes category thing. Like,
Oh,
there you go. We're
Look at
going
that
full
tie-up
circle
back
here.
in.
dirty. That's messed up. I've always said this. I really want a perpetually transforming launch to toggle between, the blonde hair and the blue hair.
Yep.
I've always wanted that. I still want that, and I would love to see if they do that at some point. Truth, you got anything?
I mean, I really want to see like Beerus like respecting Goku when he goes full UI. I hope that's part of the 6-year anniversary LR.
Oh man,
Oh,
Bandai,
yeah.
please call me, please. That is literally my scene, please.
For me, it probably would have been Gohan from the BoJack movie though, but they just dropped him. Like I'd have to actually think about that.
What
Like,
about
obviously,
Hakai
that was
Beerus?
Charlotte Jr. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Hakai, yeah, that's a good.
That would be graphically pretty tough to do, right?
Nah.
No.
Because they would do, you know how they
outline.
get
Yeah.
they get away with the the Gohan super attack, because we've said before, a lot of the new super attacks, they look amazing, but then when they show the enemy sprites, it kind of ruins it a little bit.
Yeah.
But with Gohan's 18 key super, it's just like in the movie where the enemy is more of a silhouette, so it kind of hides the bad quality. So if you imagine if they did pretty much like a straight rip of the scene where Beerus Hakai's Zamasu, they could literally have the unit be have that sort of silhouette effect, but in that Hakai color, and then have it like shattering into pieces, and then it wouldn't look as like terrible because you're not seeing the actual sprite like close up. So I think that'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
Talon,
would
what
be.
about you?
So originally I was the BoJack and Gohan guy, but that's clearly been done already. I honestly want them to start taking stuff from the manga, and I'm not going to talk about more or anything because I know a lot of people still haven't finished that and
Thank you.
spoilers and all that stuff.
Appreciate that.
But one thing I would love to see is a Super Saiyan Goku Black that they had in the manga. Like, come on, where is that guy? Make him transform if you want to, but oh my god, I would love to see a Super Saiyan Goku Black.
Because haven't they dipped into the manga very slightly for things for like certain super attack animations?
For certain super
like,
attacks, yeah, the AGL Zamos,
Yeah.
his when he's fused, but he's not corrupt. his 12 keys, his 8, just his super attack is from the manga. It's literally
Yeah.
ripped from the manga. So
They haven't done a manga only like character, but they
Right,
have like
exactly.
taken inspiration at some time. So yeah, I
Yes.
obviously would like at some point for them to do that, because even
Yes.
if they for some reason wanted to keep it as like a separate thing,
Yeah.
that would just be an excuse to throw them on the crossover category.
Exactly.
Evolution Blue
And
Vegeta
I would
does
also like to
the-
show Super Saiyan God Vegeta into Super Saiyan Blue when he's fighting Goku Black. I would love that. Just absolutely would love that.
Evolution Blue Vegeta does the Gamma Burst Flash as well. That's the other one.
Yes, that is
Yes.
another one. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, so having some stuff that would be cool. Because yeah, like you said, even if we're not going on to the new stuff that is in the manga only, like a lot of the stuff that's been covered in the show was different. So there is still stuff that we need to get from that. Because yeah, Super Saiyan Goku Black is definitely.
If you
part
want to
of
be
my list.
technical about it, Kid Goku's active skill, he says the manga line instead of the anime line.
Mm.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's like that, right? Like most of the art is actually from the manga, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying just in terms of the
Vegito-
animations.
Yeah, Buhan, all that stuff. Like I
Yeah, I
think,
think
the EZA Int Buhan doesn't even do that in the anime, or like the scene is like completely different. Like it's the direct like manga panel that the pose he's doing.
All
I
right,
guess
let's
'cause
move on. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
We'll
just
move
going
on
to say, I
after
guess because obviously there's so many versions of the same characters. Once you've taken all the animations from the actual existing like anime that exists, then it's a good reason to start dipping into the manga stuff. Because one of the things I was thinking about the other day, not to veer this off for too long, but like when we finally get a standalone Blue Gogeta, like with the AGL one and the LR, we've already got like almost everything he does in the movie. Like, what is his super attack animation going to be?
We don't have the one in where he does the, I don't know how to describe it. Someone help me out. Where he like throws his arms up and he's screaming as the vertical lines and the horizontal.
Yeah,
Help
the
me out.
LR does that.
It's the
The
finisher
LR
Broly.
does that.
He also
No,
doesn't do.
no, it
I mean,
doesn't.
what Legends has for his green card and his cover, like they could
That's
get that. in there.
that's what I'm talking about. That guy.
Oh, here's him. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to talk.
They also, I mean, they could just steal some shit he does from like the heroes. Like he fights.
Yeah,
hard.
exactly.
Like, I don't know it, right? Like it's easy stuff like that.
They could do the thing where he does like the key blast volley thing against Broly before the Soul Punisher.
Oh, where he just fires the blast. Yeah, he just fires a bunch of the energy
Yeah.
blast at him. Yeah.
All right, now let's move on to the next question on Twitter, brought to us by Ryan the Tech Guy. Ryan asks, it's a very simple question. What's your favorite passive skill of a unit? Oh,
Wow.
I know mine. Physical Vegeta Blue.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Broly Trio.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh
I
yeah, I had
definitely
a
like
feeling
Blue
you
Trio.
would say that.
Tech Ultimate Gohan. I don't know. No, it's probably actually in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Because Tech
Yeah.
Ultimate Gohan, like, you know, his stacking is important, but Gogeta, it's mostly all in this passive.
What about Tech Jocko?
Oh, yeah.
I actually, it's kind of outdated, kind of, and I know a lot of people won't like it, but I actually still like the AGL Blue Gogeta's passive. It's not the most impressive or anything, but I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for it, and so always like that.
That's still one of my most hyped summons. Blue Vegeta AGL.
It's not AGL PyCon.
I gotta hear that voice active skill, and then we'll see.
Just play the JP version.
I know, but I want to hear how I gotta know how I feel about the voice active skill, because you know me. Come on.
Yeah, since
Sunblade.
people have said most of the ones that I was going to say, I'm going to say Super 17.
Shocking.
Post EZA.
Shocking. I'm so shocked.
No
Sunblade-
way.
But I mean,
I
he's
never
just so good. It's not just because it's him. Like, you obviously understand the reason why I'm so
Sure.
hyped is because they made him actually good.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
reason why I like it, because they made him
Right.
actually good, but his passive is actually amazing. So.
I thought you were
Sunblade,
gonna-
give us a real answer, Sunblade.
I thought you were going to say Super Saiyan 3 Broly.
pre EZA.
Yeah, so I would go with the Broly Trio. Yes, I agree with Goresh. Very fun unit to use.
All right, let's move on to the next question, brought to us by Hey Source. Hey Sorchi? Hey Source. Hey asks, now that we have another What If card in Dokkan Festival exclusive PyCon, what other What If cards do you want to see?
Oh man, isn't this just like all
This
heroes?
is probably a
essentially?
Goresh answer, but I've honestly thought this: Golden Frieza, Golden Cooler together.
I was gonna say just Frieza and Cooler together.
Mm.
Yeah, freeze a cooler thing together.
I feel like Golden
Yeah,
Frieza,
that'd
Golden
be
Cooler
cool.
has a better chance of happening because of heroes.
Yeah, maybe. Frieza isn't really that big in Heroes. Like honestly, he doesn't really do anything.
Isn't really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
I've
wait, I
noticed,
don't
like,
think
it's
I've
not
ever
really in
seen a
there.
Xeno Freezer. Now that I think about it.
He's there. He's just not really used.
So what if my favorite one? I've said this like when we've had things related to those characters anyway, as like a dream card. So a what if thing I would like to see is the scene from Heroes that I use in my intros, where you get a Xeno Bardock who then puts on the broken Time Breaker mask and goes Super Saiyan 3 and becomes Super Saiyan 3 Master Saiyan.
You need to do that for like a well, not face reveal, but you need to do that in real life and like make a skit out of it. Anybody else have any what ifs that they'd like to see? I mean, honestly, man,
Nah.
I'd go with anything. Like, I'm fine with any what if. I'm
Golden
I'm-
Great Ape Gogeta.
ooh,
I mean, it's Heroes, right? But yeah.
Yeah.
that is pretty cool. Thank you. All right, I think that means it's time to move on to the next question, brought to us from somebody from the Discord.
That's like the Oscars thing where they play the music to get them to hurry
Yeah,
up.
it's Goresh, can you help me out with the name? How do you say that?
It's literally just his name.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
just his English name.
Okay. You know how I know that Sunblade took the screenshot? It says Heute on it.
Yes.
All right. So
Representing Germany here.
Suokui asks, what unit did you feel was going to be amazing when looking at their details, but came out very underwhelming? Or on the flip side, when you thought a character was going to be very bad, but then came out to be viable and a great card?
That's a tough one. Okay.
Yeah.
God, that's
Well,
a-
one thing that springs to mind from very recently for the secondary part, not necessarily very bad, but when they revealed all the heroes cards, we all thought Broly was incredibly underwhelming, and then they all came out, and he was probably the best one out of the new units.
Probably LR Gohan and Goten for me.
I think for me, the unit that I thought was going to be not bad but not insane was the transformed Int LR Cell, because I think up to that point we didn't
yeah.
understand how like the second part of his passive worked.
That was going to be my answer.
Yeah, where he got a lot of key spheres, and like we didn't understand how it multiplied into the already existing passive
Yeah.
buff that he got.
Although, you know what? I should probably say this just to right my wrongs from the past. When I summoned LR
Oh, yeah.
STR Beerus, I got so much flack for that because I said that his passive was so underwhelming and old that I basically said that it was bad, and I got a lot of flack for that. So you know what? I'm going to change my answer. It is LR Biwi, Beerus and Whis. That is the that
Yeah,
is the
still
unit
mid
that
tier. Still mid tier.
I thought it was bad. Turned
Oof.
out it was really good. You like that name, Biwi?
I think the Go Bros are another big example. When their details were first tweeted, people said they looked underwhelming. and then-
Excuse you. That is Truth's answer, sir. Just kidding. Go on. Sorry.
Oh no, that was it. I was just gonna say then.
Okay. All right. Great. Where's the music? Where's the move on music? All right. Let's go to the next question, brought to us by someone else from the Discord, who goes by the name of Kenny McGee. Kenny asks, what sort of features would you like to see added into Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle overall?
Co-op. I want to see like a co-op. Like
Yes.
It's really hard to focus with that. Yeah, co-op. I agree. I
Mhm.
agree.
Yeah.
No
co-op.
PvP whatsoever.
Some kind
Co-op
of
is fine.
raid thing I think would be cool.
Yeah.
Or clans, you know, like
Yeah, that was the other thing.
like
I
what
was gonna
Legends
say.
does. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, guilds. We've talked about this on an episode when it was a more detailed, like more
Yeah.
specified question. But like a guild type thing, as long as it has something, good to do, like it's not just there like a secondary friends list. And then yeah, co-op like world raid boss kind of things would be pretty cool. But yeah,
I think some
definitely.
sort of,
I
like,
personally
joint
don't want
effort
PvP.
in the missions. I think that would just add so much more depth to the game, right? Because now you're not just playing the game for yourself, but you're playing it for others. It adds more incentive for people to stick around.
I don't even know if you would consider this a feature. but just a revamp of the World Tournament.
How about
I mean, we definitely
no
want
world
that.
tournament? That's a good feature.
Well, no, they're not going to just delete it. They're going to replace it with something, revamp it, right?
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good one. How many have we had? 38. They're not changing that.
They
See,
must
we
know,
hear
right?
you
They must
guys,
know
but
nobody
no.
likes it.
I mean, I just love like chain battle. Going back to chain battle, they made it a focus to end the whole cell cheese, but they wouldn't actually like improve the event itself. So they're not going to do anything to the world tournament. If anything, they will do something with maybe the missions and change the missions up, but they're not going to change the world tournament.
I like how someone said trading in chat.
Yes, that will.
Yeah, that's so great. You know what you need? You need a link cable though. You can't do it unless you have a link cable
Yeah, this is 1999.
or mystery gifts. Any other features you guys would want to see? Don't say pay to play. I mean, pay to play. PvP. Other than that, anything else?
Please mirror your own leader for the friend leader.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's literally all that needs to be done.
Hydros,
literally-
talk to him. Talk to him.
Even if they don't change the friend system in any other way, they just add that, then that's it fixed.
They need to really work on updating the quality of the normal attack animations. I keep saying this, but like, I feel
Yeah.
like they're never gonna do it, and it just looks horrible. It's literally 6 years old. And they have never changed it. It's like one of the only things in the game that they've never updated in the game.
And take out the diamond background, you know?
Yep.
Isn't there like well, I mean, we've kind of talked about this before, the whole costume thing that has nothing to do with any sort of visual element on the unit, right?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, because it's not. We talked about this. Gone.
All right. And with that, we are going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you so much for all of the questions. Folks, make sure you guys are a part of the Discord and Twitter so that you guys can post your questions for future episodes. And with that said, we're going to wrap things up. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Huge shout out to Hydros for manning the boards and adding that very Invader Zim-esque sound effect. I actually kind of like that. I dig that. I'm going to use it. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Discord. Check out the Facebook page, the Reddit, the website, all that good stuff. All the links are everywhere, so check it out. Make sure you guys are fully locked into the 59G network. And if you miss any part of the show, don't worry, because all of your favorite podcasting platforms have you covered. Google, Apple, Spotify, and many more. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Do not skip a beat. Join us right here for tomorrow on the next episode of the Dragon Ball Legends podcast. For Talon, Mass Ningen, Hydros, Sunblade, Goresh, and The Truth. Did I miss anybody? No. I'm Toon Rami. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly.
And just before we close, just one quick note. Tomorrow for the Legends podcast, we are going to be doing a special edition because Legends is currently going through their biggest celebration ever. So we're going to be having on a bunch of guests that have not appeared on the podcast before, as well as some bigger names. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in Legends. And that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we will see you all in the next one.
You had to one up my outro, didn't you?